Okay, so what we're going to do here, so they give us information instead of actually telling us X and Y, they're giving us one of the identities. And so in this case, they're giving us secant, okay? And so as they point out, secant of theta is R divided by X, which is just the reciprocal of, cosine of theta, which is X over R, right? So since it's -8, they put it, R is always positive. So that must mean that the R value is actually +8, and then X is -1, since that ratio right there comes back as -8. So the given information was that the secant of theta is -8, um, and that sine is greater than 0. So since sine is greater than 0, and sine of theta is going to be y over r. Remember, r is always positive. So if this ratio is positive, that means the y value is going to be positive, right? So that tells us that we're in the first two quadrants up here, and you can see they actually have it in the picture. Okay, so then now they tell us to go ahead and use the Pythagorean theorem to go ahead and finish solving this. So we know that r is 8. We know that x is -1. So now we're trying to figure out our y value right here, which we know is positive. Okay, so just be careful, because if we were in quadrant 3 or 4, it would actually be negative, and so you have to take that into account. Okay, so what we'll do here now is we'll go ahead and do the Pythagorean theorem. So let's see, r squared. So let's see, 8 squared equals x squared, which should be -1 squared, then plus y squared. So let's see, this will give us 64 equals 1 plus y squared. We'll subtract 1 from both sides, so we get 63 equals y squared. And then we are going to square root both sides. So typically you would put a plus minus there, and it's going to be positive or negative. In this case, it's definitely going to be positive. So we end up with y is equal to the square root of 63. Now, the square root of 63 can actually be simplified. That might be where you're having your issue. So what we can do here is 63 can break up into the square root of 9 times the square root of 7. And not the square root of 9 is a perfect square, so that'd be 3 square roots of 7. So that would be the answer for what the y value is right there. So hopefully that helps. If not, send me another fresh example, and I can work it from the beginning again, and hopefully that'll help.